What up guys, JP back at you once again, bringing you guys episode number 28 in my entire DVD and Blu-ray collection. This is a series in which I show you guys everything I own and talk about each title a little bit. So continuing along here, we have more DVDs. Let's jump into it. First up, we have When a Stranger Calls. This is the remake, I believe. I always confuse the cover for some reason. I don't ever have a way to tell them apart. I know nothing about either one really. I mean, I've heard reviews on them on the past, but I think there's even a sequel to the original film. I've seen none of them. I do really want to check out the original film because it's one of those that I've heard so much about over the years, but I've never actually had a chance to check it out. I've heard mostly negative things here about the remake, but I will eventually check out both of those films, maybe do like a remake versus original thing. So yeah, When a Stranger Calls. After that, we have Willard here, and I actually really like Willard. It's the remake. I like the original Willard too. Crispin Glover is really good in this film. There is some CG, and it is, slightly dated, but for the most part, it's actually a pretty solid little like thriller killer rat movie. I've always liked this one, even though it has its flaws. After that, we have The Willies, and honestly, I like The Willies. It's a anthology film starring Sean Astin. I believe it's directed by Brian Peck, who was Scuzz in Return of the Living Dead. Which is really cool. He hasn't really done anything directing wise since then, but I wish he would have continued to do more horror films because I know he's a big horror fan. This one, I don't really remember each segment, but I do think that they were all pretty good. I think I liked all three of them. It's one of these Echo Bridge releases. The transfer on this DVD is not the greatest, but I would like to see, a good Blu-ray version of this film eventually. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. After that, we have, funny that my DVDs were kind of out of order, but we have Wishmaster III here. And I've actually never seen this one. I do own it on VHS, so I do remember like popping it in a few times when I was a little bit younger, but never really being able to get into it, so I just kind of axed it right away because just wasn't for me. I do really like the first two though. Beyond the Gates of Hell, Wishmaster 3, who knows. I do eventually want to actually give it another shot and just to see. After that, we have Wishmaster 4, The Prophecy Fulfilled, and this is another one that I have not seen. This is put out by Artisan, which means Lionsgate owns it. It would be cool to eventually see like a Blu-ray release of like all 4 Wishmaster films, maybe in a little box set or at least like a multi-pack. I could see Lionsgate doing that one day. But for now, we just have these DVD versions. I doubt that this 4th one here is very good. After that, we have Dimension Extreme. We have The Wizard of Gore. This is one that I actually haven't seen yet. It's still sealed here. Like I said in the last part, I am trying to pick up all these Dimension Extremes, and some of them are starting to go out of print, so I would like to get them a little bit faster, but I just kind of been slacking on that. So much stuff to buy, and I missed this Dimension Extreme label because even though some films were not really that good, a lot of them were, and I miss like those sort of labels that would put out these sometimes foreign films and stuff that were pretty cool. So Wizard of Gore, once again, Crispin Glover. After that, we have Wolf, starring Jack Nicholson. This one is actually one that was alright. It's a thriller. I didn't love it. I did a review for it a while back, like in 2012 or something. Really wasn't my favorite movie, that's for damn sure. But it was alright. After that, we have Wolf Creek, the widescreen edition. I actually am really bummed that I don't have the unrated version, so this is pretty much pointless to have in my collection because I'm going to end up buying the unrated version eventually. It's just one of those annoying things where, I saw this at a Big Lots, which this happens a lot at Big Lots, but it seems like they get a lot of the, versions that nobody wants, like the full screen director's cut edition or whatever. Or like the full screen rated edition. I think Exorcism of Emily Rose, I got a version like that. But anyway, that's beside the point. And you just see the movie and you don't really think, oh, there's an unrated version until you notice that, like, oh, there's usually a different cover and it usually says unrated on it. But yeah, Big Lots always kind of screws me with that stuff. So the movie's still good though. I really like Wolf Creek. After that, we have The Woman, and this one's really good, man. I really enjoyed The Woman. It's one of those films that is debated upon. It seems like most people like it, but you got people like Moods who really aren't a big fan of it. I think like episode 12 or something of 22 Shots podcast, me and him had a huge debate on this film. But I've always really dug it. Angela Bettis is great in the movie. After that, we have The Woods and The Craft in a double feature here that I picked up at Dollar General a few years ago. The Woods was alright, but really The Craft is my my film. I really like The Craft. Always been a huge fan of it since like 1996 when it came out. Looking forward to revisiting it when I work on my top 10 of 1996 list, which is the next year that we're doing a top 10 list on the podcast. So we'll be getting to that very soon. After that, we have Wrecked, which is a IFC Midnight. I've actually not seen this one. I think this might be the one that's like based on the true story or something. I'm not sure. It seems like it could be pretty cool little thriller here. I'll get to it eventually. I'm really behind on a lot of these watching of films. After that, we have Wrong Turn. This copy's a little beat up because I've had it for such a long time. Back before I really had shelves or anything, I just had them stacked under my bed or something like that. Yeah, Wrong Turn is a film that when I first seen it, it was on late at night. Well, actually, I was home alone late at night. It was like 2 in the morning, and my grandfather had borrowed DVDs from one of his friends, and one of them was like Wrong Turn. I watched it and I was like obsessed with it. It scared the shit out of me. I was home alone. It was terrifying. I live out in the woods, so you could imagine. And ever since then, I really enjoyed Wrong Turn. After that, we have Wrong Turn 2 here, Dead End. This one was directed by Joe Lynch, and honestly, it's a very decent follow-up to the first film. It's a little more cheesy and over the top, a little more unrealistic, but it's still a lot more fun, I guess. It's more of a fun movie than the first Wrong Turn. I really like Wrong Turn 2. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I've really been wanting to revisit some of these Wrong Turn films. And then we have Wrong Turn 3, Left for Dead. This one was so bad. I really could not stand this one. It was laughably bad. I remember buying it for like $20 when it came out, and then watching it on DVD. $20? What? Me and my pap bought it because he really liked the first two, and we was watching it, and we were just like so pissed off that we spent all that money on it because it was garbage. And that's the copy I still have. Yeah, so Wrong Turn 3, do not like that one. After that, we have Wrong Turn 4, Bloody Beginnings, which I actually do like. I think Wrong Turn 4 is really solid. It's definitely still like low budget like the third one, but it's way better. It's more of a prequel, and there's just better kills, better scenes in it. There's like a lesbian scene. There's some gross like fried food scene. It's just a better movie than the third one. It's my third favorite Wrong Turn movie. So yeah, Wrong Turn 4. After that, we have Wrong Turn 5, Bloodlines, which I've actually not seen yet. It's one that I've had in the collection for a while. I've only made it up to part 4, and I do really want to do like a podcast on all the films just so I could, go check out the 2 that I haven't seen yet. After that, we have Waxwork 1 and 2. These films are so awesome. You know what? And it's really messed up that these still do not have a Blu-ray release. I guess it's Lionsgate who owns these, so no surprise there. Waxwork 1 and Waxwork 2. Waxwork 2 is not as good, but the first Waxwork I've always really dug. These are really cool movies. It's been a while since I've checked them out, but I've always really been a fan of this double pack here. After that, we have the Zodiac, and this was actually really good, man. I reviewed this a few months, or maybe about a year ago now, and it holds up, dude. It's long, but you don't really notice because you're really involved in the story. Jake Gyllenhaal, and you got Robert Downey Jr. in here. Very solid stuff. And finally, for this part, guys, we have the zombie pack. This is Zombie 3, Zombie 4, After Death, and Zombie 5, The Killing Birds. I have seen multiple versions of this set. The other version is all individual discs. Not individual discs, but individual cases. This one is not that, obviously, but it does have each of the discs individualized, which is pretty cool because the cover art's pretty neat on them. And this is a Shriek Show, which is, I don't think they're really around anymore, but I really like this set. I've watched all 3 of these movies. Just Zombie 3 is a lot of fun, Zombie 4 is really bad but fun, and Zombie 5 is just really bad. But I like this zombie pack here. So that is it for this part, guys. I'll see you guys in the next part. Peace.